Good morning, Dave. How are you doing?
Great, thanks.
Another beautiful day here in Slate Run. The snow's melted off most of the places in the last couple days, and the sun's out, and it's got to be in the 40s right now. So it's a beautiful day. You were already over on the bridge looking at trout, so the trout are happy. We're happy.
And the midges hat.
And the midges
yes,
are happy.
So maybe
hatching.
this afternoon.
And each newsletter we try to come up with something unique that we can put in that will be helpful to the people that we mail this to. And one thing that I see that a lot of people have trouble with, even some seasoned anglers, is having a good understanding of what makes a fly rod cast. And there's still kind of that mystique about fly rods, and that people think that there's some magical ability that the fly rod has. And really we use them as wonderful, wonderful toys, and they are toys, but there's an incredible amount of engineering that has gone into the design of these. What I have today is actually what I would refer to as an entry-level rod. It's a clear water 8.5 foot 5 weight. The materials, the wall thicknesses, the tapers are all designed to load and unload this rod with the weight, 150 grains, 30 feet of this fly line. And that the whole idea is to load and unload your fly rods. So a balanced outfit in this case is a 5-weight line along with this particular rod. A lot of people will pick a rod up and they'll balance it in their finger and say, oh, what a beautiful balanced outfit. That has to do with making it feel good when you're cast, but has nothing to do with a balanced outfit. A balanced outfit is having the proper weight line on the rod. That's always marked on the base of your rod what line you should have. And I wouldn't vary a whole lot from that. If you tend to do shorter casts, you might use a power taper to add a little bit of weight to it. If you don't cast with 30 feet of fly line off the tip top of the rod, if you don't do that frequently, you might want to use a power taper that would be a half weight heavier than whatever the rod is calling for. In this case, that would be a 5.5 weight. At any rate, what I wanted to show is how that we load and unload fly rods and make them cast. They're very unique. Fly lines, if there was ever a perfect servant, it's the fly line. A fly line that's properly matched to the design of your rod is an incredible servant, and it will obey every command that you give to it. Even the commands that you're not aware that you're giving to it, the fly line will obey every one of them. So if we ask the fly line to make circles, it'll make circles. It'll make figure eights. It'll make waveforms. We can cast it out and it'll make beautiful circles left and right. Even a beautiful cast is very easily obtained once you have a balanced outfit. The trick of the whole thing is rod movement. It doesn't take a whole lot of power and energy to make these things cast. You have to learn how to load the rod, point it in the direction where you want your fly to go, and release it. It's very similar to loading a bow and arrow and shooting the line. In this case, you get a hold of the line, have a little bit of wind here. This is an unloaded rod, loaded rod. Unloaded, loaded. So when we go from loaded to unloaded, it cast our line. We didn't have much to do with that other than to point it in the direction where we wanted to go. I manually loaded it by pulling on the fly line, pointed it, released, and the rod cast the line. Now, since we have the properly balanced outfit, when we pull on the line, pull the line off the water, of course there's some adhesion on the surface of the water and resistance to movement. That holds the line, loads the rod just for a second. We point it to where we want it to go and release it. The trick of doing that is to add a little bit of load to the rod. The maneuver for a cast is arms slightly extended forward, wrist cocked forward, thumb on the top and locked in that position. We're going to move that straight back to the rear position and then flip the rod to the rear. That will add incredible amount of energy to that rod and load it. We bring it forward and again flip. So the movement is locked forward, back, flip, locked, forward, back. That's the movement that we're going to cast with. And we're not arcing it, and we're not going out this way. We have to go from point A to point B. We have to have a straight line on that, straight back, no arcs. If you arc it, you cast a lot of vertical line. We're not in a position today to show you that on this camera, but the more vertical line you have, the more resistance you have to your line going through the air, which results in a lot of extra energy for any given amount of cast. And you lose control of it. You'll start stacking line in front of you and hitting the water behind you. Now, here's a cast. It goes back, loads, forward, loads, forward. Now I'm going to turn around so you can kind of see the wrist movement. Forward, back, forward, back. Now I'm not doing this. We're not arcing this rod. As soon as we arc, if you could see this, we've got tremendous vertical line in front. Makes it just, all you get is a stacked line. But if we start putting this nice straight movement between point A and point B, snap it in the rear and in the front, A, forward, back. And if you look at that, we build a lot of line speed that way, which we can use reduced energy for any given distance, and we have a lot more accuracy with it. So that's all there is to it. Not this, and not bending through an arc. The wrist is locked, comes back to point B, flips the line over. When it does that, the weight of the line resists, it loads the rod. We've pointed it, it goes over the top, loads, we come forward to point A, flip. That's the cast. Very simple. Don't make it into more than it's supposed to be. These things will obey every command that we give them. Pretty neat toys, but there's an incredible amount of engineering in them. So remember, we're not doing this. Doesn't matter where we do this. We can do it over here, get the same results. Or up here, down here below us, get the same result. But you cannot arc through the movement of your cast between points A and B. A being the front, B being the rear. You have to lock and have a straight line between those two with the movement of your hand. I hope that gives a little bit of aid to you next time you're trying to figure out why you're stacking line in front of you. And when you come by the store, if you have a problem, come on out. We'll go out and cast with you. Hope to see you, and I'm sure right now you're ready to get out on the water. It's a beautiful day. The midges are coming off, and there's no doubt in my mind they'll be surface feeding later today.
Thank you very much, Tom.